Good afternoon, everyone. This is CPS Boxing News Inc., Boxing News Media from the city of New York, and it's our pleasure to introduce one of the professional boxers, MMA fighter, and bare knuckle fighter. Her name is Sonya Dreiling. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak to you and giving me some time of yourself. How are you? How's everything doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you bringing me on here to talk with me. Everything's going great. I do have a fight booked, so that's always a bonus when you get one on the calendar to actually be able to compete, because it is hard for females to do.
I know, but hey, when it comes to yourself, I know you switch sometimes in boxing, you switch sometimes as a MMA and bare knuckle. Hey, you're very active, and like I was just saying out of the camera, with all due respect to you, such a beautiful woman, gorgeous woman as well. Having your kids and everything, and being active in most likely in the sport. So congratulations on that. How is it for you, to be in the sports? Let's say, what makes you to become, that type of person? Because I'm not gonna say you just are a MMA fighter or boxer. You are an athlete, because when you become an athlete, hey, you pick up, being a fighter in an MMA, bare knuckle, and also a boxer. How you do that? I mean, hey, that's crazy. Tell us your story.
Well, I grew up doing it, so I that was in Greeley, Colorado. That was the sport. If you weren't football, you were boxing. But then also, I was blessed to have a lot of um, very respected people to grow up around, to be able to push me into that drive of this is a better option in life. One of the biggest things that they did was growing up at the Renarte Center. We had the boxing program, and that was the biggest thing they pushed was because a lot of families there in Greeley, they're factory workers and stuff. So a lot of the time they're at work. Their kids get off school. They had nothing else to do. They were getting into gangs, violence, you name it. And I had my share of it growing up. It was there. But we always had the Rodarte Center to go to. That was something that they had for an after-school program. All the kids would go there. But really pushing to keep that program open was to keep the kids off the street and keep them doing something positive. And I would like to say that they did their job with me. They've done the job with quite a few individuals. We've all had our struggles throughout it, but we've overcame and we've became very successful adults. To this day, we've got a lot of pro fighters that came out of Rodarte Center, which I'm very honored to know and to have been able to grow up with. But it was something they installed into us, which was the hard work, the dedication, the respect, and also having that humility about you to understand and be able to relate with others. And everybody's got their own story and where they came from, kind of thing. But we're never victims. We're survivors of it. We're conquerors. We're warriors over the whole thing. It's something to be proud of. So getting that drive to continue to be an athlete was I had my struggles. My
Yeah.
dad was my biggest drive for me to do boxing. I love doing it. My dad loved me doing it. I always had him by my side. And then when I was about 16 years old, my dad had a lot of health problems and stuff because he was a lot older when they had me. So I was raised old school. He was 50 when I was born. So of course, he was 66 when I was 16. So I was raised old school. So not having him there when he passed away when I was 16, it really kind of threw me through a loop in life.
Wow.
And I quit boxing for a while. I really did. And then you don't as a fighter ever just really quit. You really don't. And that's why we've got a lot of coaches, which we're fortunate to have, a lot of referees, a lot of officials that they still stay involved in it because it is something that you know you have a love and passion for. And you see it, and I see it in a lot of the coaches and our officials and stuff that they enjoy the sport. There's a lot of passion, a lot of love for it, and that's what keeps the sport going as well. So I had my problems with it, but I went back to it. I really did. I started doing 5K runs, stuff like that. I was post-surgery. I had my gallbladder removed at one point.
Wow.
Post-surgery, 2 weeks into it, I was like, I'm running a 5K. Everybody thought I was insane for it. They're like, no, no, you shouldn't. I was like, no, I'm good to go. I'm ready for this. So this was way back, you know, between the time of when I quit boxing and stuff. So it was something that it was a drive to keep doing stuff and staying athletic. But then also you look back at it and it's like, you didn't just do it for yourself either. You did it because, well, for me, a big drive was for my kids. I want them to know and I want them to see that no matter what you do in life or what you're going through or, whatever, you still have a purpose. You still have things you can do, things you enjoy, and always have that. I call it having a hobby.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have just one hobby. You can continue to do anything you want in life. So, it was something that was installed in me. It was, it's how I feel comfortable. It's what I know. It's how I was raised, and we worked hard growing up. If it wasn't boxing and school and stuff like that, we were out there tearing cars apart. My dad had a junkyard, so he put us to work. If it wasn't that, we were putting together a transmission. There was so much that mechanical stuff that we dealt with that I've learned a lot from rebuilding cars, things like that. So it was a different lifestyle, but it's something that I appreciate and I'm very proud of because not many people in this world get that opportunity to experience a lot of things that I have been able to experience. So that's just kind of how I've stayed into it. And I've explored other sports. So being able to explore other sports, I do have fun with it. I've done stuff like semi-professional football with the girls in Colorado and then out here in Alabama a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've had a lot of fun with it. And then, of course, boxing, MMA. I've never competed in MMA professionally yet, but I am looking forward to the opportunity to. I've had a few contracts that fell through, unfortunately, that I was excited for, that we could line up, which, it happens in the sport. And then bare knuckle. Bare knuckle has taken me a long way. The opportunities that BYB has presented to me with Mike and Mel and just everything that they've done, Don, everybody that's part of the BYB, Mr. Bloom, they're all really, 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 really great people. And I was very fortunate enough to be part of making history as well.
Sure.
So they took me out to London, fought the very first female fight ever sanctioned in London.
Oh, wow,
history,
amazing.
World history. So, yes, so we hit that history marker, but then we didn't stop there. I got an opportunity to go out to the Middle East in Dubai and compete in the very first female bare knuckle sanctioned event as well. So that just kind of, that topped it. But
how was the
even
trip? I
from
mean, excuse me to interrupt you. How was the trip?
no,
How
you're
did this?
good. Go for it.
How did the people from Dubai receive you? Because I know you, it's an amazing place. It seems so beautiful in pictures, videos, and things like that. But to live and be there, and experience all that, I bet that it's a different experience than being in the U.S. and any other country. Tell me about it. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, actually, it was very respectful. It was very, I went there with the, respect for their country and their religion and their traditions and stuff. And I think as long as you do what you're supposed to do, everything, I didn't get in any trouble or nothing out there. Just showed a lot of respect. That's something you need to have, following their laws and their policies and stuff like that. It goes a long way. And then just showing them that same, I'm here to do my job. I'm here to, show you guys, that
To bring you a little
I'm here for
excitement,
the
a
best
little
life.
action from me, and expose, and displays all my skills. That's exactly what you did. And I mean, hey, congratulations, because I know, since you've been, like as you mentioned in the beginning, you've been working hard, going through struggles, facing all of them, and especially like you mentioned, you being inspired by your own self. Not necessarily have to have something. So you want to become the best version of yourself, and of course, be an example for your kids, for everyone in family, and I bet you that your whole family is super proud of that. I mean, what can I say to you? I'm proud of support women's boxing, and most likely all females, because sometimes people that they only think that I do interviews with boxers or professionals or champions. I said no, I'm going for anything. Amateurs. I like to capture all these moments because I know someday people are gonna go back and check the interviews and things like that. And to me, it's history in the making. And thanks to you because I know you've been working hard and for all of that. So when it comes to women's boxing, bare knuckle, MMA, and other sports in general, what do you think about the woman or women's that they are into and now into the sport? Because long time ago we didn't see that events that, let's say an example, Chris Cyborg and other female champions in the MMA and other sports, like let's say an example, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor. Now they present to us, big, events like that. What do you think about the woman that right now it's entering more in the sports in general?
I am very happy to see it, actually. I am excited because growing up, we didn't have even a female Olympic team until, 2012? So I didn't get that opportunity. When I grew up, I had the men's Olympic team poster on my wall. I didn't have a female one. So to see females actually make that progress and, for all the pioneers out there that have helped make that, it's an extraordinary thing to see for females. Um, there's a lot of controversy behind it. In my mind, for the fact that I enjoy seeing the females. They're out there working. The ones that they're out there working hard. They're showing this is what females have to offer for any combat sport at this point. I think is a amazing like jump in history or stride. It's putting us in the history books. I love that. But to see there's a fine line with me, and I guess they'd say I'm very conservative because I hold a lot of my morals and values to me.
Sure.
And I hold those very, very closely for the fact that, one of my kids is my daughter, but then also my boys. But I don't want to do anything that steps over what my beliefs and my morals are either. So I'm not about the whole sex sells. I'm really not. And I've had offers stripped from me just for the fact that they said, well, she's not willing to do this or that. I'm not going to get ticket sales if she's not willing to, take her clothes off kind of thing. And I'm like, good riddance. I don't need the money like that.
Sure.
I'm here for the sport. I'm here to be a role model. And I think a lot of female athletes, unfortunately, there's that money versus your morals. And I think we all need to hold true to our morals and hold true to our self-respect as well. And, be able to provide the sport and be able to progress in it, but do it in the right channels and not sacrifice all that just for the money. I'm sorry, money comes and goes to me. It's not something that I'm hunting down, I'm searching for that I need. That's not my goal behind it. So I think your legacy, when you look back in history books, you don't hear about they were wealthy and blah 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 blah. No, you hear about what they did. Their legacy, what they accomplished. And I feel like in a lot of cases, when you do do the right way, do it the right thing, the money comes with.
Yeah.
That you ain't got to search for that. And so that's there's other ways of marketing and stuff like that I approve of. But some of the other stuff I hold to myself. I'm not going to do something like that. That's
Sure. And
again, you're a role model.
and
I don't.
and
Exactly.
I'm glad that you're speaking these facts because when it comes to certain things that sometimes the fighter they don't tell us about how things sometimes goes. It's to me it's amazing when you speaking about truth, when you speaking about certain things, because sometimes they keep it quiet and they don't say anything. So I like to say this type of, I like to, I mean, to talk about these certain things because sometimes, like I always tell, fans, boxing fans, MMA fighters, and whoever it's in the sports, sometimes we just get to see the fighter standing up in the stage, but we don't know sometimes nothing about them, the the history. We don't know about their lives. I mean, with all due respect to anyone, because when they want to share with us, to me it's amazing because they also share how they struggle with certain things. They also share if they cry in the gym or when they lose in a fight or certain things like that. So to me it's amazing to get this all this type of info, because sometimes the fans they love it to get to know the person, as long as the person also permit and allow us to get to know their stories, because sometimes they say that it's private, I don't want to talk about, just focus on talk about the fight and things like that, but about my life I don't want to say anything, nothing. So it's respectful as well, but thank you for, like, let's say, telling this type of stories, because when it comes to the truth, you're speaking certain things the truth, and you just mentioned you want to be proud of everything what you do, but in the right way. So it's amazing to hear your story.
I appreciate that.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, one thing that comes in my mind, I seen on TV. I'm not gonna say I saw like I mean, when it comes to fights and MMA, I seen that live. When it comes to fights and what can I say, boxing, I seen it live as well. But I haven't seen it live, and I'm not gonna lie. Bare knuckle fights. I mean, to me, it's something that it's kind of not as scary, but it's kind of hard for me because you guys or you ladies don't wear gloves, right?
Right? No, we don't wear gloves. It is. I always say it's a glorified stream fight. It is BYB. It was. There's a reason why it's extreme. It is a extreme sport. And it's something that we're pioneering currently. We're trying to make more awareness for females to get involved. Um, it is a very dangerous sport. I ain't gonna lie. It is a dangerous sport, but I think it's a different type of danger that comes along with it. It's a lot more fast paced. It is a lot more excitement. So I enjoy the sport thoroughly. I've been very fortunate enough. I've made it through four bare knuckle matches. So that itself is very impressive. To be able to stand there and say, hey, I'm doing pretty
Congratulations. I
good for
mean,
myself.
hey,
Win or lose, yeah. So
well,
for bare knuckle though, actually a very amazing sport to be part of. Especially you go from competing in boxing and MMA and training different ways of you know just even how you're training, not just on the mat but in a ring. But then you take it and you push yourself to another level of doing it in a trigon. I thought that was the greatest thing ever because it is a smaller, closed space. So it does bring your what I call your fight game, your mentality, and everything that your thought process, everything that you bring into a fight. You've just put that at the max. You're bringing everything you got because it's one wrong move. We see it with the guys and stuff like that. But for females, it's really not. There's a lot of blood. That's you're gonna get that with any sport, though. Heck, I've had a boxing match where I got the slightest little nick, and it looked like I had, got completely mauled in there, and it wasn't. It was just a tiny little spot on my nose, and it bled a lot. So the pictures are a little deceiving, kind of how bad you're tore up. Some of them are, but some of them are. And I've been very fortunate enough not to be tore up like that. So as far as the sport, though, it's a growing sport. We still have states that don't approve of it. We're working on the athletic commissions, trying to get them to give us the okay. And I think it's a sport that I think we need here in the United States. Because if you look over into, I would like to say, if you want to be the best, you got to compete with the best.
sure.
And you're going to, iron sharpens iron kind of thing. And so, just getting onto the political side of stuff a little bit there with, countries and things like that, you see, I I like watching a lot of Russian fighters, and you see how they challenge themselves and some of the training that they do and the techniques in Germany. The same thing. That's like above and beyond the stuff that you see them do. Croatia, like some of these, like even meeting people from outside the United States has been an amazing opportunity because then, they're willing to give me some of their training techniques, some of the stuff they're doing, some of the stuff that they figure this stuff out too, and it's like, oh,
Sure.
I never thought of doing it this way. The guys from Ireland I got to meet out in Dubai, which was really cool because they taught me a few tricks and stuff that they do. And it's not just something that they apply to boxing, but they apply to the MMA world as well. So I'm big about that. It's, if you're going to see the best over in other countries, and we compete,
Sure.
that has been history. What do we have the Olympics for but to compete with each other? And so you want to take the best of the best.
Sure.
So that's always my.
That's how
That's
it's
how it's
supposed
supposed
to.
to
I
be.
mean, that's how it's supposed to be. It's always great to see the best fighter from over here fight the best fighter from over here, and I'm glad to see a lot of things successfully you overcame and all of that. My question for you, it's like, what are the rules in bare knuckle fights? I mean, because like I said, to me, it's I don't know if I gotta use the right word to say it's kind of scary because, like I said, you ladies, you guys don't wear gloves. I mean, when it comes to MMA, at least they have that type of glove that it covers your
Yeah.
knuckles. When it comes to boxing, you already know the gloves and everything, but bare knuckle is like fist fight. I mean, not be like that's a straight punch. That whoever doesn't block it, you're gonna receive in your cheek, in your face, and to me it's a little bit more dangerous. So, what are the rules over here? Can you explain a few ones only?
Yeah. So when I break it down for people, because they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's the same question I get." It's like, what are you allowed to do? What's kind of thing. When you break it down, it's boxing. It is it's pretty much dirty boxing. You can clench, so you can grab them from the back of the head, and go at it. So that's something you can do. But the rest of it's boxing. But it's dirty boxing, but it's smart. So you can go in there and brawl it out, but you're going to come out with broken hands, things like that. You want to be very technical about where you're hitting, because if you're going to be hitting somebody, you want to make sure you're going to be hitting them in a place that's beneficial. One, you're looking for rocker spots, what I call, the spots that are going to be hitting somebody, but you want to be very cautious as well, because when you're coming in on a clutch or something, you don't want to get on top of their head. That's beneficial to you. You're going to hurt your hand, things like that. But it's pretty much dirty boxing. You're taking your boxing skills that you have, and you're kind of mixing a little bit of MMA. So if you know some MMA background, it's very beneficial, especially in clenches with some of the girls that get you, because a lot of them come with that MMA background. They've competed in it. And so being able to get in there with someone that had actually competed, it's been kind of cool to see that I can pull those skills that I have from what I call my toolbox,
Sure.
and they can get me up in a clinch, and I know how to get out of it, kind of thing. But it's essentially dirty boxing, but you add the clinch in with it. So if you can get them in on there, but you got to be able to. My biggest thing is I love that I have a short neck, so I can get in on a clinch, pull my head down enough to where, if they do get me, it's on my head. I'll take the head hits. They're not going to hurt me, they're going to hurt you, kind of thing. So,
Sure.
and I've seen it. I've had my prior fights. I've seen my opponent's hands after, so, and I've been very fortunate enough. My cut man, Vic, he has always done me good. My hands have always been good. Michael, that worked my corner when I was out in London, my hands were good after. I've never had issues with my hands, because as a fighter, I'm gonna let my cut man know. I'm gonna let my coaches know, hey, this don't feel right. I was telling them, that they have these custom made and patented and everything wrist protectors. So they from about
From
right here
there.
down.
Mm-hmm.
They get you. They cover your wrist. Wear them. You get the girls in there, the guys, and I don't need them. It's like, no, you do, because you want to live to fight another day.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
if this is your career, you protect your body enough to go on to your next, your next
I
adventure.
agree with
Because you
you.
don't. Your hands are your money makers. That's all I said about your hands are your money makers. Keep those protected. Now the rest of the stuff I'm not big about. If you're gonna get into a bare knuckle, the groin protectors for the guys is great, but the females, I don't think we should be, I'm sorry, they pull them up above their belly button kind of thing. It's like, really? At this point, you're giving me a gap this big in your stomach between your chest protector and your groin protector. I don't think we should wear them at all. I don't
Mm,
think we should wear the chest protectors. If you're going to get into a bare knuckle, it's bare knuckle.
sure.
Because that's more stuff for your opponent to have to hit. You're not going to get hurt. You're pretty much going in there bubble wrapped, I always say. If you're gonna get in an extreme sport, do an extreme, do it to your best. I understand your hands are your money makers. That's great. That's not gonna, affect your opponent. That's not gonna affect, anything but keeping your wrists, protected. The rest of the stuff, it's unnecessary. I keep your mouth guards. Please keep the mouth guards.
Sure.
That is a big one. I don't like seeing people's teeth get knocked out. That is, there's invest in the good ones. Invest in the good, and I've been known for mine falling out and stuff like that, and I hate it. But the biggest thing is they have a problem with fitting is because I have two big Bucky Beaver teeth and they don't fit right in the mouth guards.
Oops.
So I have had a struggle trying to get them fit.
You have to go and
But
invest it in something that they could make you, like wearing in your mouthpiece and things like that. It's good. I mean, hey, sometimes we're not gonna find the right size, but as long as you mentioning you want to invest it in something good. But remember also your face and your money maker hands are the ones that they bring you an income bread at the table, and that's a good thing that you also referring to anyone out there that would like to join, let's say in case bare knuckle fights, MMA fights, or into boxing, and it's a great thing. Talking about boxing, it comes in my mind a person that everyone wants to fight from, let's say from UFC, MMA, including in boxing right now. I call it that he's the king of boxing right now because anyone wants to fight him, whether you losers or win, draw. I'm talking about the ginger skin Canelo Alvarez, Mexican icon. That right now he's the one who's like I said, the most people wants to challenge him. What do you think about his career and his fights that eventually people are waiting on 2024 for who wants to come and face Canelo, whether it's a David Benavidez, whether it's a the rematch, Dmitry Bivol, or any other fighter that it's right there. What do you think about his career?
I think Canelo has done an amazing path for his career. I think the fact that he's very likable. He really is. I ain't got no problem with Canelo. I like watching him, his style, everything. I think he's done great for himself. And going back to everybody wants to fight the best. Currently, he's ranking on the best. When they see how he is, they see how he trains, they see how he fights. But then he gives you these little glimpses of his personal life and things that they do prior to the fights and stuff like that, or during training. I think I just watched a video not too long ago where they were dancing. He had some guys in there. They had the music going. And you can tell he's having fun. He's enjoying it. And that's the biggest thing is, he shows those parts of his life that, no matter who you are, if you're seeing people having fun, you seeing them smile. And Canelo's always smiling. He's always having fun. He's a very positive man. That draws people in. And I think that's the biggest thing, too, is, he's going to get those people that are going to challenge him. They're going to say, unfortunately, they think that everybody gets a big head on them, when they start getting those wins, they start moving up on rank and things like that. And, of course, when you're on top, you're going to get the challengers. And, that comes with the territory. And I think with any fighter, that comes with the territory. And I would expect that, with me as well, I call out some of the big ones too. That's if I want to be the greatest, I'm going to call out some of the greatest. If I get the opportunity to fight the greatest, I'm going to get in there. And it's not one of those things that you do just because you want to prove a point either. It's one of those, that's a good learning experience for me.
Sure.
That's a good opportunity. Win or lose, I'm still going to go in there and I'm going to get something out of it. That's how I think of things. So I think that's where he comes. He gets a lot of people that are going to come at him. They're going to challenge him, and then unfortunately you have that very few that they do have that. There's a jealousy factor in there, and I think a lot of that comes into play with I would say competition-wise with a lot of fighters too. So we do like to have that little feud of the controversy, and some people like that drama. I call it drama. I'd rather have an opponent that we're on mutual terms than to have one that we're slandering each other, social media. I'm not big on that. I'm not, if you're gonna call me out on social media and say things, I might comment back on sometimes the story, but other than that, I'm not gonna dog you out. I'm not gonna sit there and play the game back and forth. That's, to me, it's like we're gonna prove it in the ring, and that was something I was taught as a kid. It's like if you guys got something to say to each other, get in the ring.
Sure.
You guys got a problem at school, get in the ring.
As an athlete, and that is the case. I mean, that's how it should be. I mean, if you, let's say an example, right? If you wanna say that you had better skills than me, hey, let's compete in the ring, and after that, I shake your hand. If I lose, let's say in my case, right? If I would lose a fight, in case, I will shake my hand and say, hey, you were better than me, and good to go. Because what can I say? I'm gonna take rivalry outside the ring and then do something kind of, excuse my language, I'm gonna do something stupid. I don't want to be in trouble like that. So I'd rather to take it as a sports. Let's say compete. Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be the boxing ring. Maybe we could do a run. Like 5K, 1K. If I win, and then you leave me in peace. If you loses, or things like that. Like we could settle down, and that's a good thing that you just mentioned. You want to prove it in the ring, you want to prove it in the square octagon or whatever they calling you. And it's a great thing, like you mentioned on your example. I mean, and Canelo Alvarez, I know everyone wants to challenge him, because one thing, it's like money comes in involving the fight. And when it comes to 24 years, he already mentioned, after he won against Jermel Charlo, that I give him a respect, because we were talking about in the beginning, me and you. For me, it could be, it's gonna be hard to jump in two weight classes, or going down some pounds. And for Jermel Charlo, he went two weight classes up. So facing Canelo Alvarez. I mean, Canelo Alvarez says, you are good in your weight class, but coming in my weight class, I'm the best, and that's why everyone wants to challenge me. And we were mentioning in out of the camera. I mean, you could do that. You could go up and down. My respect for you, because not everyone does that. It's something that
No.
you probably be blessed to do that, because for some people they struggle just going 1 pound, 2 pounds down, or going up to gain pounds in order to catch weight. So in Canelo Alvarez, he's right now the man at 168, and we don't know what's gonna come in. David Benavidez is the one who's waiting right there. What do you think about this upcoming future fight, probably in 2024? Who wins, David Benavidez against Canelo Alvarez?
I think that's going to be a very interesting one, because you got to take a lot of the factors into play: the weight classes, um, the age differences, the kind of the experiences they've got. I take a lot of that into consideration, especially when you're looking at a fight, because that plays huge roles into what the outcome is going to be. There's two different training styles there, which is kind of, and two different fighting styles even. It's interesting to see how they put that together and where they're going to meet up with each other, because you don't know if someone's going to move up, they're going to move down, if they're going to meet in between, kind of thing. But I was giving more power to you, just for the fact that whatever you guys want to do, to line up the fight. I like that. If you're gonna call somebody out, and we're gonna have this, we're gonna have this trilogy fight or whatever, we're gonna put together. It has to be on a fair playing field, which is meeting at weight brackets. Having the same experiences. You can't just put a debuter in with somebody that's got 52 fights, and Yeah, I like seeing those lopsided fights. So this will be a good one, I think, just because they both are very experienced. They're very technical. You do got one a little aggressive versus the other. It'll be interesting. I think if they can pull it off, I think it'll be a great opportunity to see the skills that they're going to present. That's what, a year, 2 years out. 2024. You don't know what happens between then and there. What fights they take, what injuries become. We all get older. I always take that into consideration. I'll forever be young, I always say, but as you get older, the reflexes slow down, things like that, you're going to have taken into account. There's a lot of things that everyone's like, well, so-and-so would have fought so-and-so in their prime, they would have won. And it's like, yeah, well, the opportunity wasn't there. We can play these what-if games all day, but at the end of the day, if you're looking at the fighters, you're looking at all the statistics, and, you're playing, this is how it is currently, then I think it'll be a great fight for both of them. I think it'll be a really awesome opportunity, like I said, to see how they're going to pull that one off. Just because of their styles, the techniques, just kind of where they're going to go in their careers. It'll be interesting. And then you don't even know. My other thing is, too, you don't know where this underdog came from that, just came out of the ranks, and, he's looking for blood, too. So you don't know if somebody else gets thrown in the mix. We got new people coming in daily, so
Sure.
you just never know. There's always a new opponent. There's always somebody bigger, badder, so it'll be interesting to see, though, because we don't even know where they'll be on their ranks.
That's
I
exactly,
always
I
like to
mean,
say
I
you don't
call
know
it
until it's there.
I call it probably that's going to be a 50-50 fight, because when it comes to David Benavidez, he's hungry too, and he wants to prove out there,
Yep.
that he could be the best, and right now the best, with all due respect to anyone out there. Canelo has the fry pan from, holding in his hand, and whoever wants to come, has to come with him and facing
Yep.
him, whether people like it or not. Right now he's having boxing in his hand, and like I said, great fights. I know 2024 year are coming. We don't know what it's coming, ahead, because like you mentioned, when these fighters, they train in sparrings and things like that, they can get injured, and as the way you're getting older and everything, it's super hard now to get healing. I mean, but one thing that I could say is excitement to be expecting, what outcome is gonna be on 2024 year when we see all these type of fighters. Eventually, yourself as well. Before we wrap it up this interview, I want to ask you: is there anything upcoming in your career as a professional boxer or MMA fighter or bare knuckle fighter? Anything that you would like to mention to us?
Yeah, so actually I've been given the opportunity to fight in my home state, Denver, Colorado, December 2nd in a rematch bare knuckle against Miranda Barber. The first bare knuckle that we did, I lost by a split decision. I was a little upset about it because I thought I had that one. So, and I all respect to Miranda. I like her, as a fighter. I like her as a person. We've gotten to, we all went out to London together. I didn't fight her in London, but we were out there together, as fighters, as part of, our BYB family, because everybody with the BYB, we're all real close. We have our feuds and stuff, and you'll see it between some of the fighters and things like that. But overall, it is. They're like a family. We're all a big fighting family. So being part of that's been awesome. But I do have that opportunity to, I call it my redemption fight, and to be able to do it in my home state,
Oh,
I think it's
awesome.
even cooler. So one of the backgrounds on the location that they picked as well, which was kind of nostalgic to me, which was kind of cool, was the very first pro-am boxing before I actually went pro.
Mm-hmm.
I was given an opportunity to do a pro-am fight in what we call the Rhino District of Denver, which is in that same location.
Oh, wow, amazing.
And that's kind of where that's kind of where I first got my, I want to go pro, from when I was doing amateurs. Because I really struggled on do I want to go pro? Do I want to just keep doing amateurs? Do I want to try for the Olympics? Because I tried for the Olympics after winning the 2015 National Golden Gloves, and then it just kind of, um, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I went out to Reno, Nevada. I was supposed to, we had already been pre-matched to fight for Sean Cruz. Last minute, they let some females move weight brackets, do all kinds of crazy stuff, and I got the short straw again. So when I won the 2015 National Golden Gloves out in Florida, I fought 2 nights in a row for the title because there was only 3 of us in the weight bracket. I didn't get a break, but I wound up getting that same short straw when I went out to Reno. Unfortunately, being somebody that hadn't been invested into the Olympics and things like that, but I wanted to be.
Sure.
I wasn't given that opportunity to advance. So I really struggled. Do I want to go pro? Do I want to try again kind of thing? And so being in this Rhino district out in Denver, this is kind of really nostalgic because it was the final turn point of where I said, when I won my pro-am fight, against a heavyweight, mind you. That was even cooler because I had, I believe she came in at like 248 pounds. So I stopped her in the first round and everything. It was what they considered a white collar fight. So it was very nostalgic to see that I'm going to be in the same district of where what ultimately made me that, hey, I'm going to go pro. But to be in that district and do my professional bare knuckle in my home state, I'm excited. I am very blessed. I feel very blessed because I get to be there with, all my friends, family, everybody I've grown up with. And growing up with a bunch of them out there, they know how crazy I am anyways. Just some of the stuff I've done, I've always been a wild child. So for me to be part of, growing the BYB and the, bare knuckle sport for females and to be able to bring it to my home state, I couldn't ask for anything more. I was so excited when I got the call and Mal was like, "You're good." I was like, "Yes, this is awesome." So that is my next adventure here in December. But I look forward to. I have a few offers on the table for anything past that next year, 2024. So I'm looking forward to that. I've had some opportunities. We were trying to line up for November, and unfortunately, if anyone follows my box rec, they've seen the matchings, and then they get canceled out for one reason or another. I ain't gonna go into their details of what happened, but I got excited. So I've been on this little roller coaster the past few months where it's like, oh, I get excited, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, okay, never mind, and then I get excited again, and so I've kept my. Essentially, you got your little car on idle, and I've been revving it, and not going anywhere. So, this is my official. Yes, we're there, December 2nd, Denver, Colorado. This is gonna be great. I'm excited to be there.
I know. I mean, as you mentioned, you started boxing there, and then now you're going on bare knuckle. It's gonna be great. I mean, having your people, around you as they watch you from the beginning, doing boxing, and now you're coming back on bare knuckle. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who knows you, they're gonna be super excited to see you, how you bring your performance, display all the skills, and of course December 2nd is your date, and I invite and encourage everyone to stay tuned to support Sonya Dreiling, and also women's boxing, MMA, and all that kind of sport. Whether it's an amateur, whether it's professional, let's continue supporting our local, fighters, and continue supporting women's fights, and also all the women's out there that eventually they join, any different kind of sport. It not necessarily had to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be boxing, MMA, bare knuckle. Maybe they could be basketball or any other type of sport. Let's continue supporting, be the examples and the pioneers. Maybe in our families, we are the ones, and just continue moving forward and showing the world that anything can be possible. As you mentioned, in all the struggles, like going up and down. Sometimes the fight comes, the fight doesn't. It's gonna be happening, but right now it's happening December 2nd. And what can I say? Congratulations on your upcoming fight, and I wish you nothing but the best. So we're gonna stay tuned in in the next interview. That of course, when you have a time and be available, we're gonna be here again. So ladies and gentlemen, Sonya Dreiling with us, and it's our pleasure, my pleasure to support you, and of course all the women's out there. Thank you for this interview. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks to you.
Yeah, blessed day.